3, 2.
Hey, we're back, folks. We're going to spend about 25 minutes. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office. Every Monday morning in this beautiful fall weather at 8:30 every Monday morning, we do Monday Morning Quarterback. Monday Morning Quarterback, we talk for high school. I think it's Quad A Region 6 and 3A Region 7. So we start talking some Fannin, Pickens, Ridgeland, Heritage, Lafayette, Northwest Whitfield, Southwest Whitfield. I think I got all of them by memory.
Wow.
I don't know if I got Jason, good morning. Our Director of Sports, Team FYN Sports Director, Jason Banks. How you doing this morning, Jason?
Man, I'm doing great.
All right, so you're at the Fannin game. Friday night. Do we have that video?
Yes.
All right, we're going to play this really quick. Jason shot this video. We'll talk about it right on the other side. Come back to me. Hey, Jason. Jason Banks, Director of Team FYN Sports. That is a video you shot for Team FYN Sports Friday night there for the Fannin Rebels. That was a major show of patriotism, flags. What was that like in the stadium Friday night?
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. First, I got to say, I'm fortunate because I had a parent that called me up to give me a tip. It was supposed to be a big surprise. They didn't want really anyone to know. And parent called me, told me about it. And then when I got there, there's a couple of professional photographers and another parent that were there that we got together and planned where we were going to be to get different angles and good shots of that. And of course, I wanted to make sure that we got the best shot we could there from the 50. But it was awesome. I mean, both sides of the stadium went wild over that. Everybody was fired up. It really was a feeling of unity. It felt pretty good, and no one was on their seat. I mean, I looked around. No one was on their seat for that. You couldn't be.
Well, Jason, but for the Fannin Rebel fans, that was pretty short-lived.
Oh, yeah, I'd say the energy fizzled out.
55-7. Greater Atlanta Christian 55-7. That already puts them down 2 in the region. Fannin has 2 opening region losses already. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about Greater Atlanta Christian and Fannin County Friday night.
Greater Atlanta Christian, everyone that I saw touch the football looked like they are D1 talent. I mean, the speed, there's no way that we could match their speed. I'll say Fannin played hard, and even you could see some discouragement coming later in the game, of course, because they knew, like, really, when is this going to end? But I think another coach in the region made a comment about Greater Atlanta and their placement here, and I'd say it's a valid question. People should be wondering, like, how did Greater Atlanta Christian end up in this region? Because they're so good. I don't know if anyone can beat them. I expect that they'll go the distance the rest of the season.
Well, let me ask you a question. You got any injuries?
No. I mean, it was. The guys played hard. From what I saw on the sidelines, I didn't see anybody go down on our side. And even we had some guys who got banged up last week at North Hall that actually played well. So. Well,
let me ask you another question. I mean, I guess because we're going to talk about Union. I think Coach Brian Allison up there in the Union Panthers would have like to have had this, but I guess if you're going to play Greater Atlanta Christian, and you're going to talk about the two top teams, North Hall and Greater Atlanta Christian in that region, I guess the best thing you could hope for is to get out with minimal injuries and have an off week. So Fannin has an off week before they face Dawson in 2 weeks. So coach has got to be happy about something. At least he came out, not a lot of guys hurt, and has time to work with the kids.
Yeah, and Dawson's a good football team. I've been kind of bragging on them, all season, and I think that Fannin is probably going to upset them. I'm hoping for that. I think Fannin's seen some, they've seen some challenges this season, but Dawson's a beatable team.
Well, Dawson opened up with a win over North Hall 30-7, so they had a win 30-7, and then Friday night they're going to see Union, and as we talked earlier, Union did not come off the field with no injuries against GAC. In fact, the backup quarterback Pearson Allison played, and they lost 62-42. 62. East Hall put up 62 points on the board. Real shootout, 62-42. East Hall over Union. So that front line, I think when Coach Allison told us at the beginning of the year, that front line, wasn't as big and as maybe as strong as last year, and they lost some pretty good sized guys. And especially, you see what it looks like, with Cole Wright out of the game. Anything else, and they face Dawson. They face Dawson Friday night. So they have Dawson Friday night. They're 0-2 in the region, and going up against Dawson, they could be looking at Friday night being 0-3 that fast in the region.
Real quick, guys, 42 points, though, from a sophomore quarterback making his first career start isn't the worst thing ever.
No, it's pretty good.
No. But you got to understand. You got to understand. Sophomore quarterback, he's 100% right. Richie, you're 100% right. But what Allison says is this kid is not cold like he doesn't play. He's played defense. He's been in the game. He's playing football. And last year they were in position several times last year that he took a lot of snaps. Took a whole lot of snaps. So the kid has taken a lot of varsity snaps. Pearson Allison has. And he's also playing on the defensive side, so he doesn't go in cold.
And being the head coach's son, you got to think that he's got it upstairs mentally. You know what I mean? Like, he's not going to be scared by the moment or the any kind of pressure. That he's going to be comfortable.
Yeah, I always wrap up head coach's son as you want to ride home. Okay, when your head coach's son, the one thing you don't want to hear is, son, I think you need to ride with your mom. So anyhow, all right. I'm sorry, just putting it out there. You know what I mean? Just putting it out there. Yeah, everybody act like they don't know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
So that puts East Hall at 2-0 in Region 7 3A.
Yeah, that puts East Hall 3-0. I mean, that's going to be a good region. Anything else in that region before I move on to 4A, because I want Richie to talk about that Pickens-Gilmer game down there. Anything else over there in that 3A area with Lumpkin or anybody like that you've looked around, Jason?
I think we need to talk about the fact that Lumpkin's really not that. They're struggling.
0-5, huh?
0-5, yeah, and gave up 42 this week, or they've given up 42 points in the region so far. So that defensively, there's going to be some challenges there. And East Hall's offense, I mentioned earlier, I didn't think anybody would be strong enough to hang with Greater Atlanta Christian, but East Hall's offense is pretty good. So that'll be a good one to watch later this season.
Well, East Hall go ahead. No, Richie, they put 62 up there.
Yeah, and their only loss was to Habersham Central to open the season, in which they scored 55 but gave up 72. Talk about a shootout. It was like a basketball game.
Seriously.
So they can score. I'm looking at their point totals: 55, 59, 60, 45, 42, 62.
Well, we may have to just come to terms that the teams in this region to watch. 3A Region 7 may be North Hall, East Hall, Dawson, and GAC.
Yeah, I wouldn't even include North Hall in that conversation.
Wouldn't? Okay, all right, then the top three: Dawson, Dawson, East Hall, and GAC are the three teams in this to really watch.
Absolutely.
All right. I will just give a quick update. Murphy had no problem with Andrews. Murphy Bulldogs had no problem. I was over there Friday night. They had absolutely no problems with the Andrew Wildcats. I will tell you this. They just can't put it together, Andrews, but they have some athletes. Andrews has some football players, some athletes over there. Just saying.
Are those schools about the same size?
No, Murphy's bigger. Andrews is not as big. No. Murphy's a bigger school, stronger school. Andrews is small, very small, but it is a region game. They had no problem with them whatsoever. Murphy didn't at all. Going to Pickens, Gilmer rivalry. Richie, you're up.
Well, where do I begin?
I don't know.
What happened?
Beginning.
What happened, Coach?
Yeah, Coach, what happened? Well, I believe it was 28-0 after the first. Pickens was approaching 50 by the half. By the start of the fourth quarter, obviously the clock was running, and the final, I think, was in the 60s. Yeah, 62-0, right?
Yeah.
So Gilmer's now 0-6, 0-2 in the region. They have given up 320 points on the season and only scored 14. That's not good. Pickens, on the other hand, just looked like, not to be harsh, but it looked like a glorified scrimmage, if you will. Got a lot of guys in. CJ Stryker played quarterback most of the second half, and then the third guy even got in, the JV guy. And that's tough salt in the wound when Stryker plays. Yes.
Yeah, that's tough salt in the wound when Stryker plays, because RJ down there on the sideline texts me. I'm over in Murphy, and I get a text from RJ. Stryker just ran back a 50-yard punt return, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Jason, I don't know if you're aware of that. CJ Stryker played for Gilmer all the way up to his freshman year. And last year, they don't like the backwards, but Gilmer had a coach over here, a new coach, Galt. Galt had a team meeting and basically, not quote, but I guess told the freshmen they would not dress, they would not play varsity. And the guy was a freshman, he got up and left. That's my understanding, And so anyhow, that's salt in the wound. Who got the game ball? You don't remember? Don't act like you don't remember. Let's tell the people, who did Chris Parker give that game ball to?
One of the coaches from I'm not sure of his name. I think you know his name, but he was a coach that left.
Garrett Sellers.
Sellers, that's it.
Garrett Sellers. Garrett Sellers, another Bobcat on the Dragon sideline. I mean, you know what? If it's the truth. I mean, what are we doing? I mean, we're telling the truth. Garrett Sellers was going to coach. I'm not going to get into the weeds on that. He was going to coach over here at Gilmer, offensive line coach. Okay, guy's outstanding, natural coach, walking. I mean, Pickens is like, wow, we can't believe we got this guy. Like, I mean, there was not even no trade negotiations, Jason. It's just like,
And that one's not on Coach Wingard, though.
No, that's not on Coach Wingard. No, you're right, Richie. You're right. Coach Wingard had nothing to do with that. That wasn't his call.
Right.
So he goes down. He's a Bobcat his whole life. He goes off, plays at Navy, comes back home, ends up on the Pickens sideline, and Parker gives him the game ball. What else did Parker ask the Pickens Dragons? Let's just put it all out there, Richie. What do you ask him?
He wanted to know how many of them had lost to Gilmer before, and there were not many hands raised.
What a rivalry, folks. It's two things. There's two things to look at here. Pickens is on a roll. They've got a good football program. They've been strong for several years. They're bringing some guys up, really working hard. But the other side is this rivalry is far from over, and it gives Gilmer Bobcats something to shoot for. And those guys out there, they're coming in and meeting the challenge every week. And the challenge is bigger for those guys than anybody else is staying in there and sticking it out.
And that was my main takeaway for Gilmer was, it wasn't pretty, and it hasn't been pretty all year, as the statistics show. And not to beat a dead horse, but you could see the building blocks taking place. Coach Wingard tells us on Tuesday nights all the time about the small victories,
right?
And the idea of sometimes it's just lining up right or getting a big stop. And they made a stop late in the fourth quarter, and the kids got fired up. I mean, they were down 60 points, but it was a small victory, and they won't forget that night. I'm
looking at a 5-year rebuild. Period.
Yeah,
I mean, has to. Around the region, this is Quad A, Region 6. Pickens 1-0, Ridgeland 1-0, Heritage 2-0, Northwest Whitfield 1-1, Southeast Whitfield 1-1, Lafayette 0-2, and Gilmer 0-2. I don't know about Southeast Whitfield, but I will tell you right now, Ridgeland ran right over Northwest Whitfield. Heritage and Pickens, those are going to be 4 good football games. If you can get out, if you see a Pickens-Heritage matchup, a Ridgeland-Pickens, Northwest Whitfield-Pickens, if you see any of those matchups, you're going to want to go out and check those out if you like high school football, because that is a big region. Anything out there in the high school world, Jason, you picked up over the weekend that you anything in the region 4A or 3A that you want to add in? Any player stats or somebody is standing out in the state?
Not well. We have to jump regions. If you go Quad A, Region 7, Blessed Trinity's got a pretty good quarterback. He's got almost 1,000 yards passing and 7 touchdowns so far this season.
Wow.
And I've been kind of watching White County. That's one of our counties that we cover, and but I got a feeling Blessed Trinity is going to be a team to beat in that region. And then back over Region 6, I don't know what game I'm more excited about watching this season or hearing about if I don't get to go. Heritage Ridgeland or Gilmer Lafayette. I mean.
Hey, you know what? It's funny you went that direction, because Gilmer Lafayette. Lafayette has always been the bottom of that region. Not always, but yes, they have. You hit the nail on the head with that one. Lafayette has always been the last team in that region. Everybody would beat Lafayette. Actually, that is the game that Gilmer needs to work all year for. That's the one they need to work for, is trying to play Lafayette. Yeah, trying to play Lafayette.
Win.
Huh?
Yep. There's their final win.
Well, that could be their win. That could be their win, or second, if they come out and they lose, but they put 3 touchdowns, and they put a couple first downs together.
Yep.
I mean, the year to end the year to say, hey, we put 3 first downs together. We got in the end zone 4 times or whatever. And we blocked the kick, whatever. Those could be major things to walk in the locker room, believe it or not, and say, hey, this is what we worked for all year. Strangely enough, you understand, Ricky? You agree?
Absolutely, because if they can just get that offense rolling, it's such a system offense, that triple option. If they can just have some success with it and build some confidence, and maybe that's when it'll come. But once they can get that going, then the program starts to build, and then you start the pipeline.
Well, Pickens has Southeast Whitfield County Friday night. I guess if you're going to look at it, if you're going from Gilmer to any team at all, I guess you want to speed it up a little bit with Southeast Whitfield County. Pickens can play them, but you got to keep in mind, okay? Pickens is not playing a whole lot of seniors on defense. Now, keep that in mind. I mean, they look good against Gilmer, 62, nothing. But on defense, don't forget, this is the team that North Hall pushed all the way to the four-yard line that night. And North Hall played them to the end like 42-35, right, Richie? And pushed them to the goal line, and it was the last play of the game. That defense can be pushed by Pickens. Pickens has to light up the scoreboard to win some of the bigger games. You agree, Richie?
Yes, but I think they can.
Light up the scoreboard?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for them to possibly be in the mix for a region title. I think they're that good on offense.
Yep, I agree.
We'll see when we get to Heritage. We'll see when we get to Northwest Whitfield. We'll definitely see. I think Tank has the team over there, so I think Tank might have the team. Definitely may have the team. All right.
Max Preps thinks he does too. They're ranked 36th in the state right now. All classes.
Max Prep thinks who has the team?
Tank over there at Ridgeland. Yeah.
All right, where are you going to be? Where are you going to be Friday night? You're going to be over in Dawson with is that who they're playing Friday night? Who is Fannin playing?
Fannon's off.
They're off. That's right.
This week. Yep.
Well then,
so we'll have to talk and see where you want me.
We have Pickens at Southeast Whitfield.
I'm trying to figure out where I'm going. I went to Murphy. I enjoyed watching the Bulldogs play. I really did. They did a great job. They're strong. They're a good football team. They're off Friday night. So we got 2 off games Friday night.
So is Gilmer.
Oh, wow.
Gilmer's off Friday night?
According to what I'm looking at, yes.
I guess the only thing we can do is go drinking.
Hey,
No, sorry. No. Jason, guess the rules.
Not Blue Ridge, though.
Pull the handbook out. No, huh?
Drink water.
All right, folks, we're going to find some games we're going to, but tonight at 7 o'clock in Circuit World in Blairsville, Union Panthers playback coach Allison and the players. We're going to talk about that shootout up there in East. Was it East Hall? East Hall, 62-42. Wow, going to be talking about that. Jason, I appreciate it, bud. We'll be talking to you a little later today about what all we got going on this week. I appreciate you. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thanks for the video again. Richie, take us a break.